Welcome to Arrowhead Stadium here in Kansas City, Missouri. A tough one for the Colts here in Week 12. Fresh off the bye week, 23-20, the Chiefs get it done in overtime over Indy in a game that they were winning heading into the fourth quarter by 11 points. 20-9 was the score there. 14 unanswered points for the Chiefs to get it done over the Colts in overtime. So what happened? We're going to start on the offensive side of the football. It started well for this Colts team, taking advantage of an early Latu interception. We'll get to that a little bit later, but 3 interceptions for Mr. Latu here, like we all knew. We all knew it was going to happen, right? Getting an early touchdown from Daniel Jones to Michael Pittman Jr., and really, even outside of that, getting really favorable field position, this team was moving the ball. Jonathan Taylor wasn't breaking them, wasn't busting them, but getting some solid yards per carry there, getting Tyler Warren involved, getting Alec Pierce involved, like making throws we needed to make them. Comes to mind here, Shane Steichen was in his bag in that first half. Midfield, third down and short, scheming Ashton Doolin open for a 48-yard gain. Colts take advantage a couple plays later. Daniel Jones to Drew Ogletree in the back of the end zone. Really impressive catch. His first of the season. How about a toe tap in the back of the end zone? The Colts win up in this game 14-9 into halftime break. And this was what was most impressive to me. You know, and we'll talk about this again when we talk about the defense, but 2 8+ minute drives in that first half. Kansas City only coming away with 6 points off those drives and then adding a field goal before the halftime break. Colts go into the halftime break up 14-9, leading this game 20-9 going into the fourth quarter. That's when the offense started to struggle a little bit. Fourth quarter and overtime, 4 straight 3-and-outs for this Colts offense, and it just felt like there was some game management issues that we're not accustomed to seeing. And Shane Steichen was, you'll hear from him in a second, was very frustrated as I've ever seen him after this game. Just couldn't execute offensively. Was asked about should have you run the ball more, run a little more time, because the Chiefs just kept hanging around. And the Colts just couldn't get anything going down the stretch of this game. Again, 14 unanswered points to win this game 23-20. And again, we'll save the defensive talk for a bit, but the offense was kind of called into question here. Jonathan Taylor struggled, just 58 yards for him, and you have to expect that against a Steve Spagnuolo defense. There's no question about that. They're going to key on Jonathan Taylor, who's in the MVP conversation. But if you're the Colts, and they were doing this in the first half, you got to find different ways to win, and you got to stay on the field down the stretch of games and manage the games and learn. You know, you've been doing this well all season, winning games down the stretch. There's no question about that. But we talked to Shane Steichen, Daniel Jones, Alec Pierce, Michael Pittman Jr. after this game, all frustrated, all knowing they got to do better, especially down the stretch of this football game.
Obviously very frustrating, not up to our standards today. We got to be better, and it starts with myself. So, go ahead.
Shane, when you do the second half approach, are there some calls you'd like to have back, or just how do you think that played out in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the defense did a great job getting the takeaways. You know, we get a backed up situation, we got to get ourselves out of that situation. That's a 3-and-out there, and then we had another 3-and-out, and then we had another 3-and-out. So anytime you have 3-and-outs and you're not moving the ball efficiently, it's going to be hard for anyone to win football games, and we got to be better. I got to be better.
On two of those 3-and-outs, it was all passes. Would you have liked to go on to Taylor more than you did?
I'll go back and look at it, but yeah, I think the backed up one, we ran it and lost 2 yards, got us in a second pass situation. First, and the next one we threw it, then we dumped it down to Taylor on a screen, got us to a 3rd and 3, didn't convert there. And then we had the other one, we had an RPO where we threw it there to Tree. And then obviously they stopped us on the 3rd and 1. And so, yeah, we got to be better. I got to be better.
A couple of those decisions late on, some of those, I think there was maybe 4th and 1, 4th and 3, maybe one at the end of the game and another in overtime. Is there any consideration to go for either of those? Does that go through your mind before you ultimately?
Yeah, we always have those conversations before the game happens and then in the game in the moment. And yeah, those conversations go through your mind.
What ultimately you felt like made you punt the ball, particularly the one at the end of the game on the Chiefs side of the field?
Right there in the overtime, you're saying?
No, it's still in regulation.
Oh, late fourth quarter. Yeah, just try to back them up there. We had the lead. I mean, shoot, we had the lead. We're up 3. Why not? So if we don't get it there, they're going to be in great field position. So I think, yeah, that's why.
What do you think, I guess, led some of their defensive success in the second half with 6 points from you all?
Yeah, I mean, credit to Kansas City's defense. They did a good job, but, you know, we got to be better. I got to be better for the guys.
No sacks for Daniel today, but felt like he was maybe rushing it a little bit in the second half. What did you see from him?
I thought he played pretty good ball. I'd have to go back and look at it. Yeah.
He had a couple runs. I think they were both double-digit runs, but it looked like, especially especially the first one, he was heading toward your guys' sideline. Looked like he maybe let up a little bit. I didn't know if you felt like he was, dealing with a little bit of pain or discomfort from his fibular injury that he.
Yeah, I mean, the one he ran to our sidelines, that was a 3rd and 1, and it was a first down. He got the first down and got out of bounds.
What did you think was out of sync offensively? Because, we've seen your offense long
Yeah.
enough to see what it looks like, and that's not what it typically looks like.
Yeah, I think being efficient on 1st and 10, I thought at times we did that a little bit, but we didn't do it enough in the second half. It wasn't good enough, and it starts with myself. I think we got to be better in all phases, run and pass, moving the football.
Just didn't execute in some key situations. Got to do a better job, I think, overall in our execution, and certainly I have to do a better job in handling all that stuff. So tough to have a stretch like that towards the end of the game.
What do you think shifted in the second half for you?
I'm not sure. I think just plays here and there we didn't execute as well as we should have, and some opportunities didn't take advantage of. So we'll go back and look at the tape and see where we could have been better.
Is there anything you noticed, look-wise, scheme-wise, from half to half that they did that looked notably different for you guys second half and overtime?
I don't think there was anything. I don't think there was anything markedly different they were doing. I think a lot of the same stuff that they did all game and that we were prepared for going into the game.
You didn't take any sacks today, but did you feel the pressure at all as the game went on? It felt like maybe you were throwing a little bit more off your back foot than we're used to seeing you do.
I think they're an aggressive defense and they bring pressure and trying to get the ball out. Quick.
Your fibula injury that landed you on the injury report on Thursday, are you feeling like you're less than 100%? I know you ran off a couple good runs, I think one first half, one the second half. Couldn't tell on some of those if you were less than 100% speed-wise or trying to let them and not go full throttle there. What you telling us?
I'm good enough to play and feel good out there.
Like you left a lot out there.
Yeah, no, we just got to be better. You guys saw it. We got to execute better and get a better result than that. So.
You all had 4 straight 3-and-outs. What do you think, led to some of the stagnancy you saw in the second half?
Yeah, we just got to come out and there's a couple miscommunications, some things that I got to be better on we just didn't execute today at the level that we usually do.
What was most frustrating about that, I guess, just looking at it?
No, just the fact that they controlled the ball for most of the game and they did a good job. We put our defense out there a ton today, and our defense held strong, and I thought that they played great. And on offense, we got to pick it up.
You guys are good about when you win, you bounce back the same level-headed way. How important is it to kind of say, okay, this sucks, but we still got everything out there?
Oh yeah, there's no need to panic, but we just got to know that our schedule doesn't get any easier from here on out. So we're going to see a lot of good defenses, and we got to be able to respond. So.
Was there just a little bit of something missing, out of sync? It just felt like, I don't know, you guys, your execution has been so good.
Yeah, they had a good plan for us, and credit them too. They got a team full of really good players too, and their team, they've been to the Super Bowl 3 straight. You can never really count them out. And they played a good game. They played better than us today.
The third downs, what in particular stood out to you about those opportunities there in the second half?
Yeah, we just got to try to put ourselves in position to not be in 3rd and long, and when we do get those 3rd and shorts, just find a way to get them done.
What do you think? What kind of position do you think you put your defense in? I think they had 90+ snaps today, which is crazy.
Yeah, they were probably on the field for 40+ minutes today with that overtime. I don't know that for a fact, but it just felt like it. And we can't do that if we want to beat good, or if we want to beat good teams. So we can't do that.
Maybe first down to get you guys into positive positions to be in a better position to execute on 3rd down, maybe.
Yeah, I felt like we were doing a decent job, staying ahead of the chains. Just we got to 3rd down and just weren't able to execute there on those 3rd downs. I don't think we were ever really. Maybe the backed up drive we might have been a 3rd and long, but the rest of them I felt like we had a 3rd and manageable and we just got to execute on that. That's what the game comes down to, is just third downs and scoring in the red zone, and we didn't do a good enough job on either of those today.
Did you feel, do you feel that throughout the game, just how stagnant it got? Like, did it feel like that? Or just what are you guys telling each other when it isn't going the way like it has so often this year?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we could tell we weren't, like, you go out there, you get 3 and out, like that's not a good feeling for the offense. You know that's not the objective, right? So, especially like receiver wise, like we're sitting there talking, like we know we got to make a play, we got to make something shake, and you just couldn't get anything going in that second half.
Did you feel like they had somebody shaded to you quite a bit, safety wise?
I got to look at the film, but it felt like they did a good job, keeping things in front.
Alec, Drew catches a touchdown. Obviously, we know what he went through last year with the drop. How cool was that just to see him get in the end zone again?
Oh, it's great. I'm super tight with Tree. Great guy. No one works harder than him, so he deserves it.
What do you think of his catch?
It's a big time catch. I got a pretty good viewpoint. I was out there on the field. I saw it. So
coming up, obviously, home game. Does the sense of urgency increase now, knowing a couple division games coming up, and you guys suffered a tough loss here today?
Yeah, always. I mean, the sense of urgency, regardless of what happened today, for divisional games, it's always on the highest, possible. So, yeah, we know how big this next basically month is, but especially these next 2. So, yeah, we got to, get back to our process and just do what we've been doing.
All right, let's talk about defensively, because I find this really interesting, almost as interesting as what happened offensively. This was just a buzzword, interesting game throughout. I couldn't get a read on it, and the second and third quarters just were weird, and the first half went really quickly. It was just an odd game. But again, I mentioned this off the top. 2 8+ minute drives in that first half of the Colts, bending, not breaking, holding the Chiefs to field goals. They did a really nice job of keeping the Chiefs out of the end zone. But it was after extremely long drives for this Chiefs team. Again, just 1 touchdown in this game for the Chiefs. Self-inflicted wounds by the Chiefs, there's no doubt about it. Penalties, 2 turnovers, the Latu interception. 3 on the season for that man. I have to say again, really impressive out of Latu. And this defensive line is getting to the quarterback. Obviously, they missed DeForest Buckner, but I thought they handled the run game really well, especially in that first half. You look down at the stat sheet, and Patrick Mahomes has 352 passing yards. The Chiefs were on the field for 42 minutes, and you can think to yourself, wow, the Colts got dominated. It didn't feel that way, though, except for down the stretch when the Chiefs made the plays that they needed to make. A 90-plus yard drive to kick the game-tying field goal in regulation, that hurts, but it is the Chiefs after all. Colts go 3 and out in the overtime period, and it just felt like an inevitability that the Chiefs were going to come down, kick a game-winning field goal, and that's exactly what they did. If you let this team hang around, that kind of stuff is going to happen. It felt like the Colts didn't take it. But again, defensively, it depends on how you kind of think of this. Bend, don't break, keeping them out of the end zone. But at the end of the day, allowing 14, 15-play drives, 7, 8, minute drives, that's hard to win that way. And you're going to tire yourself out. Of course, 42 minutes into being on the field down the stretch of the game, this offensive line for the Chiefs is going to lean on you, and Kareem Hunt's going to get 4 yards before being touched. It just set up poorly for the Colts down the stretch, and it feels like they did that to themselves. So kind of weird thing to square, weird thing to balance here. Keeping the Chiefs out of the end zone but allowing long drives. It's a really weird thing. Haven't seen much covering football. So talk to the Colts defensive players, Zaire Franklin, Cam Bynum, what they thought about this situation and how they thought they played after the game.
Obviously, you're up 2 scores in the fourth quarter against a Hall of Fame level coach, Hall of Fame level players. Listen, you got to win those type of battles. We've been in those type of scenarios at different points in this season, knowing that, listen, we got to get a stop, but also bleed some clock too as a defense. So, there's nowhere else you'd rather be, playing, high-level football against a great opponent on the road in a great environment. So we just got to make the plays that we need to make to win the game.
So you got to ask you about Drew Ogletree, first catch of the year, first touchdown. Knowing what he went through last year, how cool was that to see? I
didn't know that was his first catch. That's a hell of a first catch. That was a hell of a touchdown, man. That was a big play when our team needed it. That was a hell of an effort. I mean, I watched Tree one-hand thing since he first walked in this building, so I know the journey that he's been on. I'm proud of his growth. He's the type of player that, he came in with different goals, but, he's a superstar in the role that he is in. He's an energy guy, a locker room guy. He just is a great energy, on the field and in the building. He just does whatever our team needs him to do. And, I was glad to see him get that op and make a hell of a play, in a tough situation when our team needed it. That was a hell of a play.
Could you sense during the game, Pat kind of pat the ball a little bit in pocket? What type of coverage for like Amy Sauce and Kenny out there?
Yeah, I mean, that's what he does. I don't know what his stat is, but I would imagine he's up there and, time to throw in the league. Everybody knows he's at best when he's sitting back creating. Everybody knows, he's a runner and he's going to make plays with his leg. I felt like those guys did a great job in the back end, limiting him and making him hold it. I think, we got to do a better job with the rush and, getting them down and, obviously, keeping our eyes on them when we got an opportunity to spy to get them down. So, but, it was a battle. I think he would lead his day. I don't think he felt like he was just having his way out there. But, again, he's a Hall of Fame level player. After a while, that levee's going to break. So we got to, make the plays that we can make to get them off the field and win the game.
And look at the mistakes that we made today, and nobody's getting down on ourselves. I'm still here smiling, and I know that the rest of the season we're going to fix these mistakes and get back rolling like we know we can.
Cam, what's the big takeaway just from this game? Obviously, you had chances.
Cleanliness. I think literally the small things, doing it correctly, and I think every single time that we go out there, speaking for the defense only, we gotta not let these long drives go for long. Just little small things. There wasn't a lot of big deep shots, big plays that they're able to get down the whole field easily. We made them work for it, and that's what you want to do as a defense. But we need more takeaways. We need just be clean on everything and make it harder for other teams to score on us.
One guy who keeps creating these takeaways is Leatu. 3 interceptions now in the year. Does it blow your mind that a D lineman is able to do that?
I have no clue. I'm just why is he there? He's one of our best pass rushers, and he's there. But the fact that he's able to show his versatility, being able to drop in the pass game, and be an elite pass rusher also, and leading the team in interceptions, that's big time. And I'm a lot of respect for him, and happy that he's in here balling and doing a lot in the pass game, rushing the passer. Who would have ever thought our best defensive end would be the one to be leading the team in interceptions. So he's a baller for sure.
You mentioned the long drives. You kept them out of the end zone for much of that game. So, how tough is that when it's lasting a long time, you're doing your job, you're bending, not breaking, but then down the stretch, it's kind of that comes back to bite you, I guess. You didn't play bad, but
we didn't play terrible, but we have to prevent them from even getting down there. Because as a defensive player, any points is negative. They can stack up 3 times whatever, that adds up to a lot of points. So us being able to have that same mindset when we're in the red zone, let's not let them get in the end zone, having that same mindset on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down, starting the drive. It shouldn't, obviously human nature is nobody wants to get scored on. So you swell up when you get in the red zone, but we got to have that same exact mindset on 1st and 10 after a touchback or after a kick return. So
next step is just making those plays in those crunch time moments. Big time players make big time plays. So somebody got to step up to the plate and make the plays for us. I think that's the next step for us.
Was there a play in particular that you were referencing there that you felt like you were close to making and just didn't quite?
I think that Worthy played in overtime. We caught that ball, and Rasheed Rice, I kind of stumbled, and I think it was 4th down on that play too. So those 2 plays definitely can play it a little bit better.
Any of those, the drives where you guys did hold them to field goals, I think most of them, if not all, were double-digit play drives. Maybe at times just tough to get off the field. Was there any one of those that you felt like, one that just kind of got away of a moment to get off the field?
I feel like all of them, every 3rd down, it's an opportunity to get off the field, and we was just letting them convert either 3rd downs or 4th downs. So, like I said, bro, we got to step up and make those plays in those moments, and we didn't. So, we're going to go back to the drawing board and, fix what we need to fix, and I think we'll be better the rest of the season. We needed a game like this, a hard-fought game, overtime game against, a Super Bowl contending team. I think we're a Super Bowl contending team, too, as well. So we needed this type of game for sure.
There were a lot of plays where Pat was having to play the ball.
He
might have made a play.
Yeah,
what did that say about how you recovered?
I think we was covering good. Gonna go back and watch the film. We played a lot of man today, so we got me, Sauce, and Kenny. We all great corners. Kenny a great nickel. We got 2 great safeties. So Coach Lou believed in us to play man. That's what we was doing. So shout out to him. Shout out to us for covering. For sure.
You're talking about this team can learn from this game. Like in your experience, like what does it take to learn from a game like this that came out on the?
It can kind of give you confidence. Like I said, the Chiefs, that what they won 3 of the past 4 or 5 Super Bowls or whatever. So it just shows us that we can play with the best, and we are one of the best as well. Like I said, we just gotta get over that hump to beat those type of teams. They got Hall of Famers almost at every level, even the coach of Hall of Famers. So it just shows us, we in the fight, we right there, but got to get a little bit better.
I know it's not college, you don't have, there's no rankings and all that, but like, do you feel like you guys have something to prove?
Something to prove?
Yeah, I mean, like, maybe say, you guys haven't done nothing.
I mean, we just proved it ourselves. We're not worried about the outside noise, proving to anything to anybody else. We just go out there, let our play do the talking. And I think for the most part, this whole entire season, we've been kicking ass the whole season. Kind of lost this game today, but definitely proved to ourselves that we one of the best teams in the league.
What's the next step? You mentioned like that next step to getting to that Super Bowl level or whatever. Obviously, you have Super Bowl tomorrow, but building towards that goal, what's the next step in your life?
I think we probably got to kind of finish a little bit better. We was up like 11 in the fourth quarter, so we had a chance as a defense to get out the field multiple times to get out the field to end the game. But obviously we didn't. So I just think that may be one of the things we got to do, finish a little bit better.
In your first game back from IR, you get that blindside block on you. How are you feeling?
Man, I was scared. I was on the ground. I was scared. I ain't gonna lie. I almost started crying. But it was more so my chest. It wasn't my head. I was nervous. If I would have got up, I would have started stumbling. I probably would have been out for the season if something like that had happened. So, I laid on the ground a little bit, kind of gained my composure. And luckily, I kind of just got the wind knocked out of me, and it wasn't, a headache or I didn't have any blurry vision like I used to have. At first, when I got the second concussion, every time I stand up, I get dizzy a little bit. So I was happy that it was just I got the wind knocked out of me, so I was good.
How good did it feel to get back out there, just play?
It kind of boosted my confidence to know that I can deliver a hit and take a hit as well. So I didn't have to play timid or anything like that.
The first several of them, you guys didn't give up touchdowns, so it was big, but ultimately sometimes it seemed a little tough to get them off the field.
I mean, it was super dope because our special teams was putting us in a great field positioning like the whole game. So, I mean, it's definitely frustrating, but, we just got to come together as a defense and, be on the same page and really, want to get off that field and get those 3 and outs. So, I mean, it's tough, but, I mean, I feel like as a defense we did play really good today at the same time. Appreciate you.
What's the balance for you when it felt like you guys were bending, not breaking, like you were keeping them out of the end zone?
Yeah.
But it was a couple 8+ minute drives.
Yeah.
And then a long 90. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what's the balance? Because you're playing well, but it's long. You guys are out there long.
You got to play stretch, and then you got to play, Mahomes is a magician in the pocket, so you still got to respect that at the same time, and then the DBs are doing their thing in the back, so, it's just like everything has to, come together at each and every play. So, it's definitely tough, but, we're going to go in these meetings, get it right, and, go whip Houston.
Yeah, what do you take away when it goes that way?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, depending on how you look at it, you played well. But
what I take away, I feel like, is our defense did a lot of good things, It's loud. I feel like the communication was there, even when, we might not hear things. So, I feel like that's definitely a good thing for us, that we're all comfortable with each other, communicating and stuff like that, even though, it might be hectic out there. So I feel like that's a big takeaway for me. Like, I always feel good out there with my defense, so it's dope. Yeah.
So no matter how you slice it, an extremely tough loss. Okay, I think it's time to, if you haven't already, this Colts team is for real, right? I mean, you don't roll out of bed to 8-2, now 8-3 after this loss, but the great teams win those types of games, especially being in control. Now, again, it's one of the weirdest contradictions in it felt like the Colts were controlling this game, but then you look down and the Chiefs have 33 first downs, and the Chiefs have nearly 500 yards of offense, and the Chiefs are on the field for 42 minutes, and they win by 3 in overtime. It's odd. But when you're the Colts and you're playing quote-unquote well defensively, you have to finish those games. Charvarius Ward said that. You just heard him. How do you make that step from good to great in these last 6 games? When you play really good defenses, playing some of the best teams in football, you have to finish those games. You can't let them slip away. Luckily, the Colts haven't done that much of this season, and he said it was actually good that the Colts were able to play in a game like this. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, this is a type of playoff-type game against a playoff-type team. And look, this Chiefs season was on the brink, all right? They're 5-5 coming into this game. Outside looking in of the AFC playoff picture, they're going to not go quietly into the night. They're going to make plays that they need to make. They had a lot of fourth down conversions. They had a lot of huge plays on 3rd and longs. Just Patrick Mahomes being Patrick Mahomes, and you have to know that. He's going to get his, but you got to finish those games. That's basically what it comes down to for the Colts, all right? A huge division game next weekend at Lucas Oil Stadium. Houston Texans are charging right now, all right? Colts gave up just a tad bit of ground, still 2 games up in the division, but huge game against the Texans at home. That's going to be at Lucas Oil Stadium. Like I just said, we will be there, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see what the Houston Texans have in store. We'll see if the Colts can bounce back. They've done a good job of that this season after losses, after wins, keeping steady Eddie. But they were frustrated. That locker room was frustrated, and I think they have every reason to be. That one's going to hurt no matter how you slice it. 23-20, Chiefs get it done in overtime over the Colts. Colts now 8-3 on the season. We'll see you next week against the Houston Texans. Keep it locked on Channel 13 and right here on WTHR+.